Hello and welcome. This is Michele Christensen of One Noteworthy Life, and this is a Plan With Me video for July of 2019. I'm filming in OneNote for Windows 10, and I'm going to walk you through how I evaluate the past month and set new goals for the current month. If we haven't met, I'm a big fan of personal growth and of OneNote. I host the biggest OneNote group on Facebook, which is the OneNote Bullet Journal group. So let's get into it. As usual for my Plan With Me videos, I've already done this process, so this video is going to be more of a walkthrough. The reason I film after finishing my monthly process is so that I can take all the time I need to really think and analyze and set new goals, and then I can give you a concise overview. And also, the pages I use don't really have any particular tips or techniques in OneNote, so there's not much to show in terms of setting the pages up. So since early March, I've been keeping my schedule and my goals pretty light because my husband broke his tibia, that's your shin bone, in 6 places in early March and had to have surgery. So he's made a lot of progress, especially in the last few weeks, but he's still on crutches, and so I'm still keeping my commitments pretty light. On the plus side, this experience of his accident has taught me that I can actually get more done by reducing the number of things I have going on. And that's been really helpful. Kind of by necessity, I had to slim down the number of things I was working on, and it turns out that I was better at getting them done when I had fewer things on my plate. Probably not that surprising in hindsight, but it was good to see that kind of concretely. So these were my June goals for One Noteworthy Life, which is my YouTube channel and blog. I start with just the goals on a page, and then I add the use color to make comments or evaluate and say whether I got it done. And the color doesn't mean anything. I just used whatever color I feel like it, and it just helps me see what the commentary is versus what the original goal was. So my first goal was to set up a process for hosting guests on the Take Note chat, and that is a live video chat that I do here on YouTube, usually every month. And I've been looking for guests, and I wanted to have just an easy place for them to go and get information about what it takes to be a guest and whatnot. And so that's done. I've got an information page and an application. So if you are interested, if you have like an interesting idea about OneNote to share, the link to that is in the description of this video. The next goal I had for One Noteworthy Life was to deactivate 2 of my last old email lists. It's from they were from like prior business activities that I had, and I wasn't really using them anymore. So that's all done. And then I finally, my final goal was to get all of my content checklists up to date. If you're a content creator, you know that once you create a piece of content, a lot of times there's things that happen afterwards. Like you might want to share it in multiple places and then store a link to it somewhere and that kind of thing. And as of the end of June, all of my content checklists were up to date, which felt really good. Then my June personal goals. So my first goal was for my calories. I try and have a daily average of negative 310, which means I kind of undereat, in quotes, by 310 calories, because I am in a period where I'm trying to drop some weight. And I did get a question about this, so I want to be really clear. This isn't how much I eat in a day. That would be, very low. It would be starvation for an adult. And I don't want to promote any unhealthy ideas or habits about eating. So this is just how much I try and have my food calories be less than the calories I burned so that I can drop weight. And I hit this, but it was not easy. But I'm going to go up next month again. My next goal has to do with my theme for the year, which is Be Ready. And I have a video and a playlist on this linked in the comments. But in general, I want to be more ready for whatever life brings, whether it's good or bad or opportunities and stuff. And the micro focus that I'm working on right now is my postal mail. I've had just I really don't like doing it, and I tend to procrastinate on it, and then things pile up. So I've been trying to put in 10 minutes per day, and then I use a big wall calendar, which you might be able to see in the background, to track it. And I can just show you that real quick. It's not a great picture, but I have this calendar up on the wall, and then when I do my 10 minutes, I put a sticker or something on it. And it's been really fun. I've really enjoyed it, and I do feel more on top of the mail, and it's not stressing me out as much. My last goal was to read 2 chapters in my current book, which is called Peak Performance, and it's about burnout and training for peak performance without burning out. Personally, I'm in a period of pretty bad burnout right now. Over the last few years, just a number of different circumstances have happened, and I haven't taken enough time off, haven't taken enough vacations, and that kind of thing. What's interesting about this particular thing is I picked this book because I wanted to learn about burnout and how to be a high performer without getting into burnout. And it was interesting to me, and I like to read. So it shouldn't have been an obstacle for me to read this. And I started in May, but I barely got anything done until I gave myself in June this very specific and measurable goal of finishing the first 2 chapters. So part of this is burnout itself. When burnout gets really bad, it becomes really hard to do the things that will actually help. So like reading in general is an activity I enjoy. So that should help me feel less burned out. And then specifically reading something that will help with burnout. So it's this self-feeding cycle. When you're burned out, it becomes harder to do the things that will get you out of burnout. Part of this is also not prioritizing my own well-being. I did get things done in May, but I didn't read this book that I really needed to do. So that's kind of telling that I didn't do the thing that I really needed to do for my wellness, but I got other things done. The other reason was that it was also really easy to let this slip, because when it's a monthly goal, it's like, oh, well, I have the whole month. And my only requirement was to start it, which I did do, but that was a pretty unambitious goal. So I'm glad I put this on there on my goals, because I did get it done, and I'm making progress and learning things about this topic, which I really like. The next section is called What Else? And this is just a freeform section that I use where I write down anything that happened in this month, good, bad, unexpected, whatever, that kind of influenced how the month went for me. And one thing I realized is that I'm not spending enough of my work hours making videos. Like, that's the thing I really like to do and really want to do. And so I may at some point do some very detailed time tracking to see where my work hours are going, so that I can put more of those hours onto making videos. The next thing that happened, obviously, is this big sewer issue. And fortunately, we have city sewers here, and you know, I won't be personally crawling into the sewer or doing any of that, but we do have this big project that came up, and it kind of came up suddenly, so everything's a little bit on hold until we get it resolved with the city and kind of sort out who needs to do what. Also, this third thing came up when I was unraveling those old email lists, is that I have a plugin that I need to kind of update and sort out on my website, but I didn't want that to hold up the goal of getting the email lists taken care of, so I made this separate thing. Even though it was related, I made it a separate goal for the next month. The final thing was just like a neat thought that I've had and am kind of expanding on as I go, which this process of doing Plan with me and or planning, I should say, just doing a monthly review and plan, is helping me to really see the longer picture of things. So, you know, for example, working on the mail is a really minute focus, but it contributes to the bigger picture, which is to feel more ready and more on top of things. And being on top of your mail is contributing to like my long-term stability and just a general feeling of being responsive and on top of things. So, the last part of my June review is to look at my June annual plan. And I set this up at the beginning of the year, and this is what I thought I would be doing in June when the beginning of the year rolled around. All I had this month was 2 family birthdays, and they were both really fun, really nice, so awesome. And then here is my June calendar. And let me just scroll so this is a little bit more on screen. There we go. So what I like to do with this is write down something good that happened each day. And I think it's just really fun. It gives me a chance to doodle and play with fonts and colors and stuff. And also, when I have to think of something good that happened that day, like even if I have a really bad day, I can find something good about it. And for me, that really helps me to remember that good things are happening all the time. And it gives me concrete, tangible proof that good things are happening in my life. So I really enjoy this process. So now it's time to set up July. So the first thing I do is look at my annual plan for July. And when I set this up in the beginning of the year, I originally had nothing scheduled, and I've crossed that out, because now we will be starting the sewer project. So I'm kind of glad that those 2 months coincided when I have nothing big planned and we're starting our sewer project. And now I'm going to show my goals. So for One Noteworthy Life, as I mentioned, I want to sort out that old plugin, and I also want to remove some Kindle books that I'm selling. I feel like they're just not in line with what I'm excited about right now, and so I want to remove those with the idea of streamlining my focus. Like as I mentioned earlier, I'm not spending as much time as I want making videos, so I'm hoping that by kind of cleaning up some of the periphery and things that I'm not as interested in anymore, that I can focus more on what I am really excited about. So just that's it for this month. Just two pretty, easy goals, mostly dealing with getting myself more focused on what I'm excited about right now. Then my personal goals. There's 5 things here, which would be normally more than I would do in a month. I've learned I didn't used to think that was too much, but now I know that's probably might be too much. But the first 3 are really just updates of the goals from last month. So with the calories, I'm going to up that to 350. And if you know anything about calorie math, you know that level of quote-unquote undereating should be resulting in some weight loss, and it's pretty much not right now. So I have a suspicion that my tracker is overcounting the amount of calories I'm burning, so that's why I'm just going to keep upping this until I can get to a nice, slow but steady rate of weight loss. Under the Be Ready heading, I'm just going to do the same thing this month. I'm going to spend 10 minutes per day on the postal mail, mark it on my big wall calendar, and at some point I'm going to be, totally caught up on the postal mail, and then I'll kind of decide what to do at that point. With my book, my Burnout book, or book on the subject of burnout, I'm going to finish chapters 3 through 5 of Peak Performance. And then finally, I have, number 4 is my sewer project. That's going to be starting this month. We're beginning the kind of inspections and meetings and stuff, and this could be on my plate for a while, and it might end up being a really big project. And I put don't stress because this stuff does tend to stress me out, and not only could it be a big project, but it might involve like multiple contractors and multiple administrative bodies like the city and various other regulatory inspections and that kind of thing. And then my last thing was I want to book a trip to the East Coast where my family is as soon as I have my sewer project sorted out. And I think that's it. Yeah. And then I put in a July calendar, and I haven't filled anything in on this yet. But it's all ready, just waiting for all those good things to be added to it. And that's it. I am all set up for July. If you don't have a review process like this, I really encourage you just to try it, even if you start with something really simple. I feel like I've learned so much about myself in this process and so much about how I can do my best work, and it's helped me improve my life and move forward. Yeah, like there's things that are behind me now that are done and finished, and I'm living well because of them, and it feels great. This doesn't even cost any money. You can do this type of review process with whatever tools you use to write down your thoughts and your goals, whether it's a pen and paper or whether it's a free online program like OneNote. It doesn't cost anything except your time. So I really encourage you to just give it a try. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, leave a comment on this video and I will do my best to help you out. If you want to see more videos like this, as well as videos on things like goal setting and OneNote techniques and tools that you can use with OneNote, do subscribe by hitting the subscribe button, and let me know you like this by hitting the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.